Hello, Victor here at RestoreYourMercedes.com, and today would be I don't know, I guess weedy video about something that I usually don't make videos about, but that's just like a general information, I guess. So a long story short, I traded my 300 SE, the 1990 300 SE. I did some work to it and I got this. Now some people will say it's a bad trade, some people say it will be a good trade, but I do have a baseline and my bottom line rather. I need to sell the car, so either I would sell that one or this one. It doesn't matter to me. Either one will not be in my possession for a long time. So I figured this was going to be easier to sell versus 300 SE because that one is older and needs some more work. But it's a nice car. That one was a good machine. I really liked it. But I figured I need, need something smaller. It fits in the driveway better, and yeah, it needs some work too. I mean, I can show you a few things, I guess. I mean, the major issues here is this massive oil leak. It's just like ridiculous. It's leaking all over the place. Down under is a puddle. As you can see, down under is a huge puddle. Harmonic balances seem to be in place. So basically I'm doing the cover over there. I'm doing valve covers, of course. I'm doing spark plugs, and there is a little bit of an issue with smooth running condition. Cylinder number 2 is always a negative. Number 1 and number 4, they jump around. So first thing is spark plugs, of course, and then I'll check the vacuum leak and whatnot. But it starts, it runs. AC needs a little recharge because it actually has some gas, but I think it's just, this is an original machine. I mean, whoever bought this, it was a 1999 model, and they never did anything to it. Literally 137,000 miles, and I don't see any kind of bolt touched, and I doubt they even changed spark plugs. So it still lasted all this time. So now what I'm doing is there are a couple of things that was wrong. The convenience relay went bad, seats didn't move, so I fixed that. And second thing is the wipers. Wiper is very important regardless. Well, obviously you cannot drive with no wipers. So right now I'm waiting for parts for the engine, but I figured I'll check out what's going on with the wiper. So this video is about the wiper blade, because this car will have some other things that I will do to it. There's some suspension issue. There's a little bit of a thumping going on on the suspension. Obviously the oil leaks. Brakes seemed good. Mirrors, yeah, mirrors. And this is like, common thing on Mercedes. As you can see, self-dimming mirror is all delaminating, discolorating. That I'm replacing. The mirror on the other side is broken, so that I will have to also fix. See, it's just sitting here, so it's not a big deal. Somebody hit the mirror, as you can see, it's all cracked up, but it's not a big deal. I mean, I actually even have a cover in the same color, actually. Interior is pretty nice. So over here, not much to do at all. The switch is broken. I'll figure that out later. So radio works, AC works, heat works, cluster works, lights work. Headliner is delaminating just slightly, as you can see here. Somebody stapled it, but hey, it's a runner, so windows work as well, so we're okay. So let's go back to the original situation here. It's something that I haven't seen in my days because I mostly work on S-classes. This one is getting some fuel pump work done. It's some gluing going on over there, so silicone is setting. That is the different story. So like I said, I mostly work on S-classes, sometimes on E-classes. I used to have one of those back in the days. It was a really nice little car. So, but again, I never seen this issue. So the thing here is the wiper goes halfway and then it just stops. So if you help it, it will continue. So I figured, all right, like an S-class, not like an S-class, like E-class, mono wiper, single wiper, you always have issues with gears. Actually, on the S-class, you do have also an issue with the gear for the wiper extension. The wiper extension is similar to C-class and E-class. Mechanism on the S-class, on 140 chassis, is similar to this. But other than that, that's basically where all similarities end. This is mono wiper, the other one is dual wiper. So here the first thing I figured, all right, so let me check up on the gears, because usually either this gear strips, and but that was sort of my mistake, because I never thought of the linkage situation. So even if this gear would have been broken, extension would have not worked. You know, that extension when it comes out and goes back, that was kind of like I said, I don't really deal with these, so I figured, oh, I'll take it apart, see what's going on. That's what threw me off, because extension works. So I was like, okay, something is up, so let me take it all apart and see what's going on. Because I have a gear, this half moon shaped gear for E-Class, but the thing is, the C-Class, this is all metal, it's built into the housing, so nothing to worry about here. And this is where we came back to, the actual motor, which is kind of funny, because I actually see a piece of metal broken on the main worm gear. As you see closely right down there, there's a chunk of metal missing right here. It's very bizarre. And obviously you have this plastic being completely stripped, so obviously this is where the problem is. So it's the main motor that has an issue. So, you know, there would be no need for anybody to disassemble everything just to check for what's going on here, because if your extension works, right, if the wiper comes out, when it moves, it extends out and pulls back in, extends, pulls back in. So that's how it's supposed to be. So if that works, but it just stops out of the blue halfway, then there will be something wrong with the actual wiper motor. Now, a few points here is because it's like the linkage is kind of complicated, and the lineup is important, because once you take it all apart, you can misplace the actual lining up of the linkage. So you have to kind of put some marks. I always put some marks on it, like I have a little mark here to line up with the with this tiny little mark right here. But also, I never looked into the technical diagrams, you know, anything like that. There is a pin, there is a lineup pin. If you research it deeper, you will know what I'm talking about. There is a lineup pin, same for the E-Class as well, 124 chassis. There is an alignment pin that you can use to line this all up properly. Where is it? I actually just saw it. Here it is. You see this little notch? That is to do with the alignment, so line up of the actual wiper, where it's going to end up. Because if you take this apart, you can put it in any location. You know, you can put it this way, that way, this way, this way, this way, this way. So whichever way you're going to put it, and then you tighten up the nut at the end there. So it might end up that, or wiper might be overshooting, or wiper could be just going over its end, or it might not extend properly. So this is, the lineup is important. So, you know, just be aware of that, because some people would not put any marks, take it apart. And even on the S-Class, when you put aftermarket gear, sometimes I have to take it apart to get the wiper not to overshoot over the windshield corners. Like sometimes the wiper extends, but not like the windshield corner pulls in, but then extends and overshoots the roof in the center, and then it drops down and then follows. The S-Class, the curve on the S-Class is just like on the C-Class or E-Class, but it does not complete the full cycle, whereas the mono wiper completes both cycles. The S-Class goes like this, it extends down and then goes back. Well, this one obviously it is just basically extending, dropping, and extending down. So that's what I'm saying. So it's like the actual extension and where it's going to stop, that's important, and that's all done by lining up the whole assembly here. And of course you do want to set up the motor so it's not really difficult for it to spin. So you have to have it not in a straight line. This one is in kind of in a straight line, but that's factory. But if you look very, very closely, there is a slight turn to it. Like, I don't know if it's visible on the camera, because when motor starts and activates, you don't want it to activate straight against the linkage. You want it to like sort of be off a little bit. So that's my take on this. Now the good news is that this is a C-Class, and C-Class you can just buy a motor. Basically from most Mercedes you can just buy a motor. So I'm buying this whole assembly like I did on my ML, actually my truck ML 430. I also broke a gear, but not this one, not the worm gear. There was another gear broken in there, so I just figured I'll just get a whole assembly. So this is what you get, this is what you have for the mono wiper. Now this is part of the wiper motor here. These are contact points, and as you can see, these are in excellent shape. Whereas again on the S-Class, on E-Class 140 and 124, sometimes these wear out, and you also have issues with wipers stopping in the middle. SL 129, that happens on them. So actually, yeah, I have an issue with another car over there in the backyard. It's an SL 129 chassis, wiper went on it too. So I also have to figure out what's going on with that one. But that's the next project. I gotta get this one going so it's ready for sale real quick, and then put it for sale so I have room in the driveway again. So this is your wiper situation on the C-Class 202 chassis, and somebody's, you know, maybe somebody will find this interesting and helpful. Alright, so this is all for me. I'll keep going. Like I said, I have to finish this car. This car is sideways like that. So as you can see, it's like all twirled because well, long story short about that car, fuel pump, right? S600 2003 twin turbo. Now this is the original pump that came with it, so I got the pump, but I got Bosch. This is Pierburg. This is original. So I got Bosch. They sent me the pump, but the plug is wrong on the Bosch because it was from the other model. So this is what I did. So I got the pump from S420. This is a 96 model. It worked fine. I just replaced it as a preventive measure for a customer, as your valve blocks and all. And I soldered. This is original plug. I don't want to cut it, so I cut off the tip from original pump, grind down plastic, and I soldered new wires to it. I'm just checking for the silicone. That's what's setting right now. I just want to silicone the actual solder points. Those will be all right. I mean, I don't care for those because eventually I'll get a new pump, but I just want this car to run. I was waiting for the pump, I was waiting for the weather. Everything came, the pump came, weather came, everything is good, ready to go. I'm so happy. You know, just put the pump in there, boom. Plug is the same style, but the pins inside, that are offset wrongly, so it does not fit my car, because that pump eventually, I mean, that pump came from 2001 to 2002 S600. So that obviously is well, it was wrong, you know, it was wrong. Although I did check by part, I don't know what happened actually, because I really researched my stuff pretty accurately, but this time something happened. I mean, I missed something, and I got the wrong pump, I guess. So this is where I broke it off. This pump has an issue with the motor because sometimes it activates, sometimes it doesn't. Now you would say, oh, you know, S600, blah blah blah, you have to have high pressure pump and whatnot. They seem to be exactly the same, to be honest with you. Fuel pressure on that pump is 55. It doesn't drop, it doesn't raise. I mean, I checked it on the fuel rail. The engine runs perfect. Full boost is there. So I believe it's just that pretty much a commercial gimmick where they want to sell you the pump that costs 300 something. At the dealer it's $600 or something, just because the plug is different. But other than that, the whole style, the whole design, inlet, outlet on 4.2 liter is exactly the same, because you have fuel pressure regulator. That's what regulates the pressure. Pumps pump. They just pump. All of these pumps, they just pump fuel. Pressure regulator changes the you know, the pressure itself. But yeah, given that the output of the physical pump, how many liters per minute it outputs, that is important. But I did check the car with you know, just driving it on that pump before I put it in. It actually just drove just fine. So I think the outputs are pretty much the same. But again, I just put it in so my wife can drive it around, and I will get the proper pump with proper plug. Obviously, I just don't have time for it. She needs the car, so I'm just gonna do it like that. And it runs and drives fine. I drove it around, and there's no difference really. So this is basically all for me. This is a long video, so I'll cut it quits, and it's time to go. So this is it. This is Victor. This is what I've been doing. Finally, weather is good, so I can do some work. These are panels from C-Class and a vacuum cleaners to vacuum some dirt behind these cowls and all these plastics. Alright, so this is it. This is Victor at thestorymercedes.com. Thanks for watching.